Yeah, my name's Naj Peterson. Born and raised in Ottawa. Uh, Went to Carleton University, studied business and economics. Started working in the finance industry. I worked at a bank, hated my job. Every morning I'd get up, sit on the edge of my bed and just wait until the last minute I could leave before I was late for work. Just because, at the time I didn't even realize it, but I think I was actually just depressed because I realized, I was wasting my life, doing something that I didn't enjoy. So I quit my job and I just knew that I loved streetwear culture. I love sneakers. I love music. I love art, all these things that are direct derivatives of hip hop culture and black culture. And I just wanted to work anywhere where I got to be immersed in those things. So I got a job at a local streetwear boutique and just slowly worked my way up and up the ladder. And eventually I just reached a point where I knew I could do it for myself. And, instead of just, slaving away to, put money in someone else's pocket, for me, it was more just about knowing I'm capable of doing something. And I felt compelled to do it. So I took that opportunity. I left that boutique and started my own boutique, Stomping Ground. I know it sounds cliche, do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That's not true. You do work, but it just doesn't feel like work. I can't wait to get to work. On Mondays, people are like, oh, I got to go back to work. I can't wait. I look forward to every Monday because it's like game on. It's you against the world, especially when you're a small store. You're going against massive corporations, and it's just, you're part of this fun game that never ends. You get to do something that's incredibly unique, that no one else does it exactly like you. I get to be creative in a multitude of ways. I get to represent a culture that I'm incredibly passionate about and grow it within a city that I grew up in. I get to influence younger people who are looking for opportunities in this world. So there are so many things that motivate me on a daily basis to do my job to the best of my abilities, and it changes day to day. I've always said to any person who's interested in becoming an entrepreneur, it's really about taking that first step. If you have the talent, if you have a great idea and you're willing to put in the work, in 2020, there are so many ways where you can start a side business as a side hustle until it becomes your main hustle. So anytime people come to me for advice, I will say, do you have a great business plan? What's your idea? How's it going to separate you from, your competitors in the market? Are you willing to put in the time and the work? And a lot of times people have, delusions of grandeur. They think it's a lavish lifestyle. It's not. It's countless and countless hours in front of the scenes, behind the scenes, late nights, sacrificing social life and relationships. So, but if they say yes, yes, yes to all those things, I just say go for it. If you do all those three things, you're gonna succeed. So I really think it's just about taking the risk and seek out the advice from people who have done it successfully. If you want to enter a certain field, go and search out people who've had success in that field and ask them how they got there. And then take that information, and bring it back out. Anytime you're a minority and you don't necessarily fit the mold of what the majority expects you are, it's always going to be different, and especially as a black man, it's uniquely different because there's such a deep-rooted history of discrimination and generalizations that people expect you to act a certain way, expect you to be a certain way. So it's no different from what many black people experience. I think sometimes it's amplified when you're in this space as a CEO or a business owner because you're constantly in rooms where you don't see people who look like you. And further to that, those people aren't used to being around people who look like you. So you get those microaggressions, those comments, when you go to the bank and you're either withdrawing a big amount or depositing a big check, you get that once up and down kind of look, or that you speak really well, or like, how did you actually get here? Or you're actually the owner. These are little things that you experience on a day-to-day basis. And as frustrating as those things are, they're not the biggest barriers to entry. The biggest barriers to entry are systemic and socioeconomic. That's what prevents people from having the opportunity to even be an entrepreneur, because being an entrepreneur is a luxury. You wake up one day and you say, I want to take this risk, and you have that, the only thing that allows you to do that is usually typically some level of investment or resource. And as much as, a lot of entrepreneurs want to say that it just takes a good idea and hard work, that's not often the case. Most wealth in this country is inherited. Most people who start a business have some form of assistance from whether it's a family member or a cosign on a loan. So the barriers to entry go far beyond casual racism. It's accessibility to education, it's accessibility to resources, financing, and then even once you get all those things, you're still faced with barriers of nepotism, clubs that you may not be necessarily welcome into, and you find yourselves in situations where you're somewhat alone. I was really fortunate. I had two amazing parents, who immigrated here to come to school. Education came first, and they instilled a lot of work ethic. But even beyond that, they wanted us to be able to experience the dream that they didn't have the opportunity to experience. My dad always dreamed of having his own business, but he had kids, he had a mortgage, he didn't have the luxury to do that. So, what really made me feel like I could do this was, my parents being like, you're doing this for us as much as you're doing it for yourself. And that's really what fuels me on a day-to-day. I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my community. And especially in this climate that we're in right now, I feel such a bigger responsibility to give back, to also educate people who aren't Black. I'm keenly aware that I'm part of an industry that is fueled by Black culture. But when I look at my peers, there aren't many Black people who are heading these companies, whether it's a retail store, whether it's fashion brands. You see Black models being used, Black celebrities endorsing the product. But when you get to the boardroom or you see who's in the head office, you're not seeing a lot of faces like ours. So I've really made it a priority to give back as much as I'm getting back. And I'm really imploring other people of color, other Black entrepreneurs and other Black leaders in the community to do the same, because we don't see those faces growing up. You might see, your local barbershop, Caribbean restaurant, but we're not constantly seeing even just doctors, lawyers, CEOs, architects, and they're out there. We see the mainstream media where we see a fairly one-dimensional side of what Black culture looks like. And we need to see more people who are doing great things in the community, more people who are, achieving higher education, more people who are starting brands. Because if you grow up seeing that in an early age, you realize that I can do that too. And, social media and YouTube is helping, but the mainstream media is still lagging on that. So the more examples we have of Black people who are breaking boundaries or achieving a high level of success, it's only going to help foster the next generation that comes after.
Good morning, McTavish. I'm your host, Yahya, and today is a day 4. My Path is an Alberta educational service that allows high school students to have direct access to their educational information. We would like all high school students to get signed up. They need to email Miss Weatherby from their personal account, and I will email back to the directions on how to get signed up. This will allow students to track their graduation progress on the email top of the screen. Wednesday, February 23rd is Pink Shirt Day. Wear pink this day and stand up against bullying. Today is PLF Day and Monday is Family Day. So enjoy the long weekend, McTavish. Meetings today at lunch in room 1608 to discuss the upcoming talent show. The next women rights groups is Tuesday, February 22nd in 2010 at lunch. Anyone interested in joining the women's rights group or attended last week is encouraged to join the Google Classroom code on the top of the screen. Now here's Yahya with the sports.
Hello, McTavish.
For the junior high, for the first half of lunch, you'll have 7A in Gym A and 7B in Gym B. And for the varsity gym in the second half of lunch, you'll have the grade 11s and 12s. Now onto these two fine gentlemen right here. So my first question is, why do you guys enjoy gym even? Like, I can't even. My first question is, why do you guys enjoy gym?
Gym is a very fun sport, man. Like, we're here to have fun and exercise. Like, there's nothing else.
Okay, good answer, good answer. And my second question is, are you guys even good at sports? Like, there's really no point to it.
I'm better than you, yeah,
What do
yeah.
you mean? I would destroy you in basketball and badminton right now. All right, let's go, let's go. The next grad meeting is February 23rd on Wednesday at lunch at room 210. We'll discuss fundraising, grad photos, and rings and more. Today's French word of the day is pomme de terre. It's the literal translation of apple of the earth. It's French for potatoes. Happy birthday to Carter, Aiden, Ashton, Naya, Lithuli, and some birthdays on the weekend are Ashton, Lillian, Bailey, Shelby, Alexandra, Jordan, Ryder, James, Habite, Ewan. Now here's a fun fact.
Did you know people are more creative in the shower due to the increased dopamine in their body?
That's a crazy fact.
Is that the camera?